Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Today, we have Mr. Jakob Takos, all the way from South Florida, Jupiter, to be specific. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good, dog. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful sunshine day. You said it's sunny down there. What is it like living in Florida, my friend? Because a lot of us, will never get to experience that.
Well, exactly what you said. It's sunny, and then maybe in 10 minutes later, it'll be raining. And then maybe 15 minutes later, it'll be so humid where my hair will be like out to here, like Albert Einstein. But it's nice. I mean, especially these summer months coming in, it gets hot. A lot of the people that vacation or snowbird here now go home, fly back home as the snowbirds are. So it's getting hot. It's getting kind of quiet since we're on the off season of things. But it's people say it's paradise. It's for me, it's home.
It's weird, though. It must be a little weird because, in our area, summertime, like the resort towns, that's when they're the
Mhm.
busiest. But in Florida, that's when you're the slowest. Is that, yeah, I guess when you live there, it's not really different. But like, do you kind of feel that as well, or not really?
Oh no, no doubt. Yeah, no, we feel it for sure. I mean, since I played like solo acoustic music, just kind of at the bars, restaurants, coffee shops, happy hour, and sometimes I see like a huge dip in like the regular crowd, and sometimes I don't. I see like a steady crowd, but then when it's really the difference is like when season is here, when it's like that October, maybe like September, August area, that's when it's just like, where did all these people come from? And then you see all the different license plates around town and stuff too. But especially during the summertime, I know a lot of people have permanently moved here too as well. But it is very hot. So I mean, I know it's really nice and sunny and pretty nice out there. But I mean, I can't walk to the mailbox without having to change my shirt because I'm sweating so much.
And it's obviously gotten worse in the past like 5, 6 years, correct? Or have you not really noticed that like where summers have been worse than others?
That's another good question because born and raised, I've been outside Florida boy, and I feel it every year where I'm like, man, this is hotter than last year. I swear this is hotter than last year. But I mean, even with the people too, I feel like there's more people, and it's getting hotter. So maybe the people bringing the heat, maybe the sun's getting closer, or maybe I don't know.
So when you play solo, is it more like afternoon gigs, or are you playing late night gigs, or because it seems like in Florida you would think that there's a lot of afternoon like happy hour gigs that are available, probably more so than like other places. Is that true?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's I know because I know a lot of people that even will come down here for a little stint and do as many shows as they can if they even stack it and market it a certain way where they're playing at let's just say Tin Roof. I know their Tin Roof's popular in Nashville. We have one in Delray, Palm Beach County, a few hour couple 20 minutes, 30 minutes south of me, where I think they have live music every day. And if it's maybe they organize it where like a full band's on the weekend, or maybe they have like a solo guy kind of during like that afternoon happy hour slot. And it's also kind of feeling the vibe a little bit too. People like we have a lot of tiki bars around here where people like want to walk in, kind of have like that Jimmy Buffett feel to them, where they just want to kind of like drink their Corona and sing Wagon Wheel sometimes. But then when it gets late at night and then they feel in their drinks, they want a little bit more of that bass and that rhythm. Band kind of comes in and kind of feels that way.
Right. So since the pandemic, have you seen like what's the biggest trend that you've seen in restaurant and bars that you play in?
It's a very good question. Um, I've seen more demand and popularity for like acoustic acts, I believe, because I remember during the pandemic, people reaching out to me like, "Hey, are you willing to play solo acoustic?" Especially during that questionable uncertainty time of the pandemic, where people wanted to operate their business if they were still able and legally able to. but they didn't want to hire a band for budget reasons, but also they didn't want people, I guess the word was congregating and like drawing that many people in. So they're like, but we want to show that we have something. So are you willing to play solo acoustic maybe Monday night? And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So and then as we kind of got out of that too and back to whatever is defined as normal now, I still see that a lot too. And I think it's a easier to sometimes. I don't want to speak for business owners or restaurant owners, but I think for them, for knowing they can bring a singer songwriter to kind of come in, play their stuff, have that relationship too, they kind of come out, and then that way they kind of like show that we got events going on. And then even just like the trend with everything, I feel like nationwide, like run clubs got really popular. Just kind of like any like community thing to kind of bring people together has definitely had a ripple effect and has made their way down South Florida.
And pickleball. Can't forget pickleball.
And pickleball, dude. Yeah, yeah. What about? Are you playing pickleball, dog?
No. I played tennis in high school, but I don't know. Pickleball just seems like, I don't know, it just seems childish to me.
Yeah, it's actually coming from tennis because I kind of thought the same thing too. Where I'm like, why don't you just play tennis? But I've had some friends. There's a ton of pickleball stuff. There's pickleball leagues, tournaments, but a lot of my community of like people that surf and people that just like want to get out and be active too. It's just so addicting and a lot of fun too. And that's like my biggest thumbs up to anybody being outside having fun. But it is funny because people say the same thing about like I do jujitsu. I'm not like a crazy competitor or anything too, but people are like, what, what, why do you do that?
We'll get to surfing in a second, but I want to ask you, so as a live performer in a resort town, it's got to be a little bit of a dichotomy for you because I would assume probably 60% of your audience is on vacation, having the best time of their life. And then you're working and then you're going home to your like daily life. Like, is that like kind of a mind fuck or are you used to that at this point?
I'm definitely used to it at this point. And but it is interesting because you can kind of always tell who's a little bit on vacation. And I try to be welcoming, and it's always like with the approach. People come up to me like, "Hey, I really enjoyed that one song you played." My family, they point to like their whole family. They're like, "Oh, we're down here for the weekend. We heard of this place. Do you know anything about it?" And then I'll be like, "Oh yeah," and then kind of give some recommendations. I've had people come up to me and then like show me like $10 and they're like, have you ever been tipped this big before? And I'm like, what? And then they'll say like a comment like, oh, I came from here and we never see live music, and so like I don't know if like getting tipped this big. So like just random side comments I'll get from people from time to time, which will kind of mind fuck me in a sense too. But there is a sense too where it's like I'm kind of used to it where like I'm in an arm's reach of a lot of things that I'm very fortunate and blessed to be with, but also it's I'm very gravitated towards like relationships and connecting with people. I've met like so many incredible people that have just moved here from a whim, and then I will maybe the next week play a different coffee shop, and then see that same person like, yeah, I followed you on Instagram, you're awesome, and I'm new to town, and so and then again I understand like what they're doing. They're like getting used to the town, familiar face, maybe like we had a good conversation, sort of thing. But yeah, it is interesting.
So yeah, I mean, like sell Jupiter to us. I mean, for people who've never been there, what makes Jupiter so great, and why haven't you left?
um, I'm only laughing now because like my dad's been here since he was like 7 years old, and I remember being like in middle school and the grumpy old man that I always kind of poke fun at, and he's like, man, this town's so different. I remember when it was like this many people and now we got this many people. I'm like, you're crazy. And then I'm like getting stuck in traffic in high school. I'm like, man, there's a lot of people now. And then pandemic, boom, real estate. I'm like, whoa, there's a ton of people here now. And then even with like the professional golfers that live here too, reality TV stars that have made their claim to fame too, and have called this place home even before their claim to fame as well. So there's been a lot of draw and different attraction as well, and different crazy news things. But from my perspective of someone who's born and raised here in Jupiter, whose family's been here for a long time as well, Man, it's still a small town. There's still a big sense of community. I understand it. I understand why families move here and bring their life here because they like being outside. They want to introduce their kids to what it is to just to go fishing. To introduce their kids to just like maybe going out. Like we have some beautiful trails outside too, just to be outside. There's a I there's a handful of times I've surfed, but I don't surf enough where I call myself a surfer. But sometimes the boys are like, "Want to come?" Like, sure. I mean, I grew up skateboarding a lot too, so that was like a big thing. There's so many things here, but and I guess it's home. I mean, I guess being born from somewhere that'll always kind of be your home. I mean, regardless, I feel like I've traveled enough where I truly can live anywhere with my wife. But this will forever be home.
So let's talk about the guitars that are behind us. Introduce each one and let everybody know the story behind them.
All right, let's give you the full picture then.
Oh my.
So we got a nice Gretsch. Trying to think of the exact model, but it was a hollow body that I wanted, and this is originally orange. I don't know if you can see kind of some of the scratches here,
Yep.
but I had a relationship with a guitar builder, and I'm like, man, can you paint my guitar pink? I think I saw like he's really I think he plays with like Tori Kelly, Mateo. I think he had like a pink guitar, and I'm like, man, that like really stands out. And then also like South Florida, there's a couple musicians in their community I'm pretty inspired by where they've got some like very cool like blues pinks where so I wanted that pink.
Love it.
I worked at a guitar shop early in my life and got some really cool things like it would come in the shop and then that would interest the owner to kind of like sell, resell, and some things didn't interest him. So someone brought in this Epiphone Sheridan, and I think the owner of the shop didn't really care for it. And I asked him like, "Can I buy that off the him?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't care." So I got that. I put some different pickups in it, and this is like one of my favorite guitars. I love Vampire Weekend. I love indie rock, Two Door Cinema Club. So when I got that, I definitely kind of like immersed myself into the sound. I've done a lot of recording with that guitar too. And then similar color, I have a G&L. Like I wanted like a Strat style, something with a rosewood, and then right there above it is kind of the same thing too, with some humbuckers. Again, I love John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, like that signature neck pickup Strat style sound sounds so good. And uh, for people that don't know about G&L, George Fullerton and Leo Fender started the company when Leo Fender left Fender. So this is, in my opinion, a little bit more of a Leo Fender's last touch on an instrument before he passed away was from G&L. I love G&Ls. And that's actually right there is my telly. I was listening to a lot of Leon Bridges, his like first record coming home, and I believe the guitar player had such a nice touch on his telly, and it like because I always just associated tellies with twang and just like very like bright. But man, it was just the simplicity of a telly. I love it so much. And it's Empress wood, so it's all solid wood. I think weighs about like maybe 5 pounds, five and a half, six, like super light guitar where people pick it up and start knocking on it. And I'm like, no, it's all solid. But I was paying that guitar off and then I walked in and then someone told me it was all paid off. And come to find out my wife paid off my guitar secretly. So it was very, very,
Wow.
very sweet. And then to speed run the rest, I got a really nice breed love over there. That was a very um unassuming gift I got, but that was like something that's just something for home. It just got such a big full sound. Underneath it's just a kind of a cheap harmony guitar. But then I got this as like a graduation present from like high school from my dad, and then I recently just put a Bigsby on it, which I
Wow.
which I love.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
kind of give it a different sound. But yeah, those are. And then I got when I play solo acoustic. I got two Taylor GS Minis. So I used to play like a full size Breedlove guitar, but sometimes doing like 3 hour gigs. I would get just tendonitis in my hand, and sometimes I just wouldn't take a break. So I'll play for 3 hours straight, and then I'm like, what if a shorter scale would help that? And then I've kind of figured out it did a little bit, and also with proper stretching and all that stuff too, like the things of like taking care of your body so it can take care of you, sort of thing. But yeah, I've had so many other guitars over the years, but in in recent fashion, I've been trying to kind of scale down, and I think I'm good.
So I want to know, so when you go to a concert, like, is it is it hard for you to just appreciate the band, or are you one of those that is like looking at everything, hearing it, like nitpicking, like, analyzing, or can you just go to a concert and just enjoy the music?
It's a good question. Sometimes when they're having too much fun on stage, I'm like, fuck, I want to be there. So like I just like I want that pull in. But for the most part, I try to tell myself like to like it's my reminder to be present and enjoy this moment too. But it's something that just doesn't turn off in my brain. If I hear someone's guitar tone that's just like, and then like I see like on like their feet, and I'm like, oh, they're using a quad cortex. I have a quad cortex. I wonder what kind of patches and stuff that they're using. And then even myself, I know the skills that like I'm trying to work on more as a musician, and especially live, where it's like especially like the confidence of like a lead singer, front man, front woman, how like they connect to the crowd or connect with their band, or maybe they don't even do that at all, but like their music speaks so much. There's like things that like I grab inspiration from. So for as far as like the technical side, sometimes it like picks out a little bit, but other times like I'm able to just like be present in the moment and really enjoy the show. And I know it really lands home with me if I'm able to kind of take it home and want to be a better musician. If it's like me picking up my guitar and working on like arpeggiated scales, or me hitting up my band where it's like, man, our live show, we got to do something like this and then do something like this. And I bought a smoke machine on Amazon. We're going to use it at this bar. um, but it's something that doesn't really turn off.
So I want to know. So I talk to a lot of bands from Texas, and they tell me that, realistically, you can just tour the state of Texas and have a pretty good, like, living. Could you realistically do that as an indie band or as an indie artist, solo artist in the state of Florida?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I've been doing it, and I'll say like honestly, I've been doing it since like 22, 23. It's a hustle for sure. I have my hands in different pots as well. But I mean, I know people who move here for music where they either like lived in Nashville, did the Nashville thing, or lived in New York, did the New York thing. Actually, I know a few people right now that just moved from LA back to actually Palm Beach County. And there's enough restaurants, there's enough private events. Like even this whole month of June, this whole month of June, I'm only playing private events. And yeah, however you want to kind of charge differently from a different venue, from a private event, you kind of be the maker of your own destiny. But I know a lot of people that can just only make an honest living. Good living subjective. I mean, people are happy with little, but some people need a little bit more. But also, cards are stacked against us sometimes with rising gas prices and all that other stuff. So it's you gotta be creative in certain ways. But yeah, and also like I mean, what we were talking about before, how different in rural Florida really can be. So good music is good music wherever you are. I know we have different pockets of genres for like a day to remember. I'm pretty sure they came out of Ocala, and like some like the hardcore kind of like pop punk stuff. We have different pockets of that all over Florida. I know that might not translate well into like a tiki bar or Alan Jackson vibe, but maybe it will. Maybe like their set can kind of correlate differently. But there's a lot of opportunity here for sure.
Do you tend to, when you do cover songs, do you tend to just do pop and rock, or do you venture into country as well?
Um, yeah. So I'll do some country. Johnny Cash has been like one of my biggest influences since I heard Ring of Fire on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 when I was a kid, and just like it just grabbed me in. And then I Walk the Line, Walking Phoenix, just to visually see something too. And then when YouTube became YouTube more and more over the years, being able to like look up that. So I play a lot of Johnny Cash. I but like and I feel like this is like pretty common with some people that they just kind of grew up saying like ABC, anything but country. Like, I don't like country. I don't like this. And then I caught myself with that a little bit too. But then I would see like Brad Paisley do the sickest guitar solo. I'm like, that was really cool. And I'm like, but it's country. I don't like country. And then I'm like, then I'll see, I'm like, Johnny Cash is the only country I like. But then I see people like Tyler Childers, Zach Bryan, Nick Shoulders,
Durkin.
Charlie Crockett. Yeah, just start. Oh my gosh, yeah, yeah. With Johnny Blue Skies, people like that, and it just like really hits the chest, and like I could like it's all the things I like, and I'm like, man, like I've learned to grow into something, and also I learned for myself not to just immediately dismiss something where it's like as strong as a word of like I hate this or like I don't like this, and then you start opening yourself up more, and that leads you so much more. But as far as the cover side goes, yeah, there's a handful of country stuff that I'll play. I've had a lot of people tell me like they'll hear me play like I'll play even some like the southern rock stuff like as an example A Horse with No Name by America.
Mhm.
Like I'll play that, and then someone will come up to me, he's like, "Man, you played that so well." And then they'll list like 30 other songs kind of from that genre, and it kind of gives me some more ideas of like my own homework I need to work on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. So when you are playing acoustic, are you just acoustic guitar or do you have a whole setup? Do you have like the looping stuff and all that stuff? Or what do you
Yeah,
got?
yeah, I do. A short answer, yes. I do have like a loop pedal. I got so much junk in here. I was like, nah, I'll grab it later. But I used to use like a Boss RC20, which is like so old. And I don't call myself a loop artist. So like I have like two tracks where it's like loop. Maybe like I'll do like like even like reggae stuff. Like do some skanks. You have the rhythm track. You have like the bass, and then I have like a wall pedal. So like with that, I can do like some swells, make like
Yeah.
pad emulated. But yeah, I'll do some loops, make it fun. Sometimes I'll play like some instrumental stuff too, or if I just kind of want to jam on some chords or whatever, and I can kind of see people are paying attention way less than they were, I'll just kind of be like, all right, let me just kind of jam a little bit, and then also challenge myself too, make it interesting, make it fun, and then transition to another song. But I recently bought Ed Sheeran has like this monster loop station,
Okay.
which I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to learn this immediately. I got so many stuff. I need something similar to what I had with the Boss RC20. So he had like a small version, which is like a like you record, stop record. But then there's like this switch I've been doing where it's like I can record like an A track and a B track. So example, if I'm playing like Stir It Up by Bob Marley, playing the chords, playing all the rhythm stuff on A. B, maybe I'm doing just like the swells and the bass, and I can mute one channel and keep one channel going. So like it's popular like with reggae where it's just like oh maybe just percussion or maybe just like the skank is just going. So being able to get creative in that way.
So is there a song that you like can honestly say that if you didn't play ever again, you would be totally happy with?
Oh, a lot of them. A lot of them, and that's the thing too. It's like I'm like this album's been such a big priority to me with my original music, and like I'll sneak some of those songs into wherever I play. I've been playing now since I was 16. I'm 31, so I'm so grateful for the relationships where people can just trust like Jacob's going to come and play. He's going to do a good job. He's not going to just play 3 hours of original music because that will be just a lot for anybody. But I will. But I've curated covers over the years, and I try to like put new ones in, maybe change the key of this, and this one evolves to that. But recently, I feel like I've been slacking in that department, so I feel like my distaste for certain songs that I play has now bled into like more and multiple ones, and I'm like, man, I can cut this. But there's been songs that I've like have taken a back seat, and then I'm like, man, I'm just gonna play this one because I haven't played it in a while. I'm like, wow, I really love this song. Like when I get my hands on you by the New Basement Tapes, I think the lead singer to Mumford and Sons like
Marcus.
Yeah, I think he sings that one. I think it's a Bob Dylan song, if I'm correct. But I that's it's a softer song. It's chill, but I figured out kind of like I'll just kind of like the drums. I'll do something on my guitar, and then just loop the bass line, and then have that A B track separated. So when it goes to like the chorus section, I'm able to kind of mute something, change the chords, and then my drummer, shout out to Ricky, let me borrow his rubber bridge guitar. So I've been playing some sets with my rubber bridge guitar, and the covers that I kind of put away, I brought back up to refresh.
I think it's actually I with looping and seeing it done in a live setting, I actually think the process is more cool to watch and listen to than the actual finished product. Is that weird
Yeah.
to say?
No, no, it's, I mean, I relate to that because it's like, I really love the creative process so much. I mean, I could just sit in the room and just not say anything for hours and just with a smile on my face and watch like a band like dissect a song or even like build a song from nothing. I mean, I'm a photographer as well, and I love watching like the POV people in New York with like the GoPro on their chest, and they're just walking around taking pictures. Cause I'm like, oh, that gravitated towards them, and then they put it in this angle. So even like with music, and especially like with me, since I'm like in their shoes as a performer, especially like a restaurant setting where you're kind of background music too, to in a sense, but seeing how they approach some of their loops, it's sometimes I've seen people build stuff up so much and it gets so messy, and it's almost just kind of like that, like almost like a Chinese torture device where it's just like it just loops, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this drives me crazy. It's like got to change it up. You got to do it with some taste a little bit, but yeah, the process is interesting, but it's all. I mean, funny story the other day. I've kind of like what you said earlier, where it's like the people that are out of town, they're talking to you, and you can kind of tell this. I think I was doing Seven Nation Army by White Stripes, so loop full on floor, play that bass line, cut the bass line out, do the rest or whatever. But like I'm not playing that. Sometimes I'll just like move my hands a different way. Someone like pointed at me, it's like he's not even playing. What's wrong? Like he's just like singing along to backing tracks and this, and like complaining to a manager. And then the manager is like trying to explain, like, no, he's looping. He's like creating these things on the fly. Nothing's backing track. And then she started complaining about her meal. And then he's like, I can't help you here. I don't know what to do. So it was one of those things where it's like you could just be like, "Oh, beautiful day." It's like, "Well, that cloud, it's bothering me." And
Yeah. Yeah, you always hear about a Florida man. You don't hear about Florida women too often.
yeah, yeah, no, they all live in HOAs. That's where the Florida women are.
Yeah, speak on that. I think it's so hilarious that, that a Florida man is like a phrase that people recognize. Like that there's this like punchline that's, attached to that.
Yeah. It's and I think it's like the internet does internet things, and it definitely amplifies certain stuff, and I think people definitely have like parrot personalities where they'll hear something and just like parrot and just like say it without even like understanding what they're saying because it's just fed to them, and like as we were talking before, just in like a media scape. But I mean, growing up down here, I mean, this is kind of like, I mean, drive a couple hours west, we're like in Lake Okeechobee, just like do like going through the Everglades, seeing gators and just walking around or surfing or just doing just stupid stuff. I mean, I know every generation has changed so much where like I grew up with social media and cell phones, but it wasn't as heightened as crazy as possible where I could still do like stupid shit with my friends and not get like so crazy in trouble or like blink and I'm on 13 ring cameras running around the neighborhood as a kid or something like that. So, but the whole like essence of Florida, man, it's just so funny. And also it's just like one of those marketing terms that just kind of came on.
Yeah. I even see t-shirts that say like a Florida man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So let's talk about so we've talked enough about your solo career. Let's talk about how we get the connection together. How does this band come about? Like when is the first seeds planted, let's say?
Yeah, so I've been playing music and I started just playing guitar. I think I was just too chicken shit to sing, or maybe it was more of like a comfortable thing where like I'm happy here and didn't really want to push myself. I don't really know exactly what it is, but I guess it's still part of my journey. But now that I'm singing here, I've been playing guitar in different bands, and I've always kind of like done different things where like I would see like a singer, I'm like, oh, maybe like let's do something, and then like we can make some money playing this restaurant, do some covers, and then got to the point where I was like so like almost sick of just relying on people just to do something simple, and then I was always writing music, not really happy with my voice, but just working on it, working on it, working on it, and then eventually just kind of went out and started doing the thing. Got blessed with opportunities, but then I've known so many different musicians, even the guys in my band for like a long period of time. And then like when I wanted to start my thing, I've been in so many different bands. Bands come and change, names change, persons change, vibes change. And I was just like, I just want to do something to sustain it and keep with me. And then I was just kind of playing out solo, but I was very consistent with the guys I was playing with, and also my approach to music and original music too, of just creating something from nothing and being able to just connect with people that I gel with well, and also resonate with people that are willing to listen. I feel like with a group of guys I have, it's almost like a disservice just to kind of like say my name and put my name on it, because I don't want to just look at myself as like a John Mayer or a Leon Bridges, because I feel like people like that. I'm definitely not saying I'm in that category at all, but I feel like for like some solo songwriters, they definitely have like their own path. And with me, with like just the arts in general, I've done a lot with like photography. I've done a lot and just mixed media as well too. So also thinking from like a branding perspective as well. If someone types in my name, I have a book that's in Barnes and Noble. I have all these things, and someone wants to see the music. It might be a little bit overstimulating and overwhelming. So when they, and also playing solo acoustic, if like you see my name like at a coffee shop, it's like, all right, well, is the band coming or is the band not coming? Because I want to see the band. I want to see the band. We all want to see the band. So that's why I kind of just, I remember sitting at dinner with my wife and I'm like, the connection, I'm just going to call it the connection. I did that early on. And honestly, if I did that before, like if I had that idea before playing out with a group of guys, I probably would have just called it the connection and not even called it my name. Jakob Takos and the connection. It was more for just kind of like I was already in this thing, so I'm like, let me just put this here and do that.
So, who of the band do you think is the most talented musically?
Well, let's start from bottom to top. It's me at the bottom, and then we're gonna go all the way up. And so we're gonna start at fifth place here, and then all tied for number one is everybody else. And everyone brings like such like a unique flair, like just like the speed run where I call it like the core four. Like if I'm playing guitar and rhythm, and I have like a guitar player and then bass and drums, and I love harmony. So yeah, like my bass player, it's got like I think he's got perfect pitch. Marco, playing bass and doing harmonies, but Marco actually produced and recorded all the stuff for the for the new record too. So his understanding, and we've known each other for like over a decade now through music and through other common interests. So he's kind of gotten like a feel and a vibe for like the sound and this like concept and idea. And then my guitar player Royal, I actually met him when I was working at the guitar shop. He just came in, like he's dressed very, very well. And I'm like, man, who's this cool cat walking in? And then he plays some guitar. I'm like, this is some of the best playing I've ever heard in my life. And then coming up to him and then just having a nice conversation. Like, this guy's really cool. And then just being like like just like a super fan of like the people that are even like in my band of like individually. I mean, even like the more like the newest person into kind of like the core four is my drummer Ricky, but I've always known of Ricky because he's been hustling in the music scene for a long time. I've always seen his name pop up in different bands. I've always seen him do different groups and ideas, and we've always just seen each other in passing and passing. And then when I was looking for kind of a drummer for this project of Sweet Brews and Heavy Grooves, someone suggested his name, and then I just kind of reached out, and I'm so happy he said yes, because his ideas, he's not afraid to be honest too, because especially with like, again, someone who's like front facing a band and a group, it's so easy. And I've been in this position too. It's so easy to sit back and be like, oh, whatever you want. It's fine. I can do whatever. Yeah, it's fine. Rather than being like, I can do whatever you want, but I think for this song, if I played this, it might be too much and it might be stepping on the bass player's toes a little bit. I personally like how the bass is kind of flowing this, and I'm like, I'm doing some melodic stuff. What do you think? So having like just structured ideas too, and also just like the common respect. Like my bass player jokingly says, this is the healthiest group of guys I've ever been with in a band. So it's and I think because we all have like the same like goal, it's just like to create something from nothing and just be around good people.
So how does the community and the venues in your area support independent music?
It is a blessing because they do. We have a great venue, Guanapanas, depends how you want to pronounce it. It's a popular restaurant in the area, but they've done, and it's really been Matt Caher. He's been the guitar player for Box Elder. He still plays guitar. He's very tapped into the music scene, but what he's been able to cultivate there, he's got a nice stage, nice sound. People from like all over the country will tour, stop there, either do like a happy hour acoustic set, or for nighttime they'll do like a, I think Jerry Bash with like a Jerry Garcia, Grateful Dead tribute bands kind of coming in, festival style stuff. But it's very encouraged to be original, even play all original music. Like it's in, and I know a lot of bands in the past have played there and they see like the tiki they see outside and they think like, oh, I'm not like reggae or I'm not tropical. I don't know if like my music will go well. And good music is good music and it'll be receptive. And that's the thing. It's like the clientele and type people that go to these places want to hear something original and want to kind of have an experience. That's one. I mean, even further south, Respectable Street is like one of a great venue where it's like very indie rock, a little bit more. That's another great spot that's been doing it for a long time. Ticketed door. Further south in Lake Worth, we got Propaganda, which has been, I've been playing there since I was like 16, 17, early on there too. And they've done festivals where they blocked off the street and have bigger bands kind of come in. But when these bigger bands come in, they always bring like some like the local bands put on the bill too. And then even up north, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It is great. But then even when they're not doing like bigger shows, they'll just try to think of like, oh, here's karaoke night, here's an event. They try to keep it lively and fun.
So do you notice that you don't get a lot of bands like maybe mid-major, like even like smaller bands that come down to Florida just because of the travel and just because of having to come like, it is kind of like
No,
out of the
yeah,
way,
yeah. It's
right?
dude, it's such a. I didn't realize that until like I started talking to more people in the industry where they're tour managing or they're just talking like logistics and operations where that's like when they do Florida, they'll either like kind of cut through like Tallahassee, Fort Walton, Panhandle, maybe over there by Jacksonville and kind of go up, or maybe they'll hit Tampa or like a major one and then just get the fuck out of there. Um, or they'll really commit to Florida and then really do as much as they can and leave. I have noticed that for sure. It is a commitment. I mean, it takes like I think like at this point it's probably 8 hours for where I am to get out of the state. Which when I was in Europe last year on my honeymoon with my wife, I was mind blown what we were able to accomplish and achieve just from just being on a train going all around. But yeah, it's a commitment to come down here and play some shows. But people know, I mean, from the monetary gain, if they're able to kind of like have a great fan base that sells merch, they sell out shows. It's good for them in that way. But also, it's just great to build a fan base because I remember playing shows in Gainesville and then people that are like my dad's age coming up to me and I would play like a Tom Petty cover and they were like, man, like I remember Tom Petty in this area and this and I'm like, yeah, that's not too far ago and it's here. It's right there in Gainesville. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, realistically, I mean, you're right. I mean, you could totally just do like just up and down the coast and you'd have a 20 date, 30 date tour if you wanted, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if everything goes well with the weather, if everything goes well, just logistically, yeah, you can start from like the Panhandle, go all the way down Naples, St. Pete, Tampa. You can go to the Keys even too, come back out, go through Broward County, Palm Beach County, kind of go up the whole thing. definitely commitment. But then also, I mean, I think it's very cool. Uh, just how like you really can do whatever you want now in the age we are as like a independent artist or even just like a musician in general. I mean like All American Rejects. I mean, I don't know if you've been seeing like what they've been doing. They've been playing on like Twitch streams with like popular Twitch streamers. They've been doing like all these like college frat party style events and stuff, and it's All American Rejects. They're massive, but they've been playing whatever they want really. And you call it strategy play or whatever, but I look at it as more of just like power to the people, and like it's like your own choice. And I know a lot of people in like the folk singer songwriter side, they'll do like house parties and stuff too. So yeah, you can really kind of do whatever you want.
The house party thing is a big thing. The porch parties, like you see
Hmm.
towns like doing porch like events where bands play on porches. Yeah, it you definitely see more creativity. Of course, the pandemic brought that creativity with the
Yeah.
drive-in shows and the
How about in like where you are in Pennsylvania? Is there like a lot of like original indie club music venues? Is there restaurants that have live music, or are people just kind of trying to create something for themselves?
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing in our area. There's really not a lot. Now, I mean, I guess with relation to the population, I guess there are, I guess maybe like a sufficient amount, but I mean, you really have to go to Philly. You really have to go to Baltimore. Like there aren't a lot of homegrown musicians in this area. August Burns Red, they're like kind of
Okay, yeah,
a
yeah.
band. Yeah, they're from here. Live, the band back in the '90s, Live. They're from this area.
Okay.
I mean, Taylor Swift is not that far away. So yeah, so I mean, there is some, but like it's funny, like the we have this Central Pennsylvania Hall of Fame like induction every year, like ceremony, and like I don't even I think Brett Michaels from Poison
Yeah,
is
hell
like
yeah,
one of
dude.
the like I'm like, oh okay. The Innocence Mission. Oh, okay. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I feel like, and I think that's in I think it is there is a correlation between that lack of independent venues and like you don't have a lot of like music coming out of this area. I think they go hand in hand because I see towns all over like Athens, Georgia is a perfect example.
Yeah,
Huntsville,
yeah.
Alabama, obviously like Nashville, Austin, all those cities, but like there's these smaller cities all across the country that are really like not only like encouraging like local music, but like they're like putting up money so they can tour, get, like through grants and like not like more grants and stuff like that. So like
Yeah, yeah.
there is this underground, I think, movement, but when we're spending $25 billion on a war, where is the money?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, exactly. That just reminded me of a story when my wife and I we got back from our trip in Europe and we're in the airport getting picked up by the Uber, and you know how TSA are, like you're standing there. It's like, why are you standing there? Keep the line moving. I'm like waiting for my Uber, and one guy's like, oh well, welcome to Florida. I'm like, oh no, we're home. We're back home. He's like, where'd you go? I'm like, oh, we spent a month in Europe for our honeymoon. And the guy was like, man, if I'm gonna go vacation, I'm gonna spend money in America and spend it for America. And in the back of my head, I'm like, well, it's going overseas anyway, so we might as well like.
Yeah, it's a very, very closed mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, now I feel really welcome to be home. Thanks,
Yeah.
mall cop on a bike. But
Yeah, you know what? It's funny when you said that about Europe and the trains. Like when I hear these bands that I talk to that are from England that say like, "Oh yeah, we can hop on the train from London and in 2 hours I'm in Paris." I'm like, "What?" It's so crazy.
crazy. I know some people here that have been doing like the Amtrak. Like I know a guy named Dominic Delaney. Great, like folk singer songwriter. He's so good on the mic. He was doing the Amtrak tour. He'll hop on like this that Amtrak train and go wherever. I know people kind of just try to optimize and utilize whatever's kind of at the disposal, which I respect and understand. I mean, we have something called the Bright Line here, which is like a really, really fast train. It's been popular in the news because it goes really fast, like really, really fast to the point where it's kind of hit some bikers and cars. a
Oh.
lot. There's a death counter at this point now. It's I'm only kind of like tongue in cheek laughing because it's just insane, but but people use that for transportation a lot. It's for like it goes so fast where I can go to like Orlando in like no time, but I know some musicians have been using that for travel.
So where like yeah, I mean, so tell me like where does this go all over in Florida?
So I believe it starts in Miami and it goes all the way to Orlando, or I think even past it. And they've been trying to advocate for like, oh, we need a bright line stop here. We need a bright line stop here. And of course, towns like Jupiter were like, no, we don't want this easy accessible people just hopping on a bright line coming here, coming out. West Palm Beach, that's more of a city. It is a city, so they have a station down there. It's really popular. Miami, it's really popular there too. Orlando. I remember I was doing a photography job in Orlando, and I drove up with the group, and I had to go back because they stayed an extra day. So I just hopped on the Brightline, came home, and saved me quite a bit of time and money.
And how much does it cost to go from like Orlando to your like to where you're at?
To be honest, since that was a work expense trip, I didn't pay. I don't really know too exactly, but those prices have influxed quite a bit. I don't use the Brightline. Like I think I've done it like 4 times maybe, but from what I've seen, a lot of people were like, I used to use this for my work commute. It's gotten too expensive. Now I don't. So
Yeah, just like everything else.
yeah, just like everything else.
So, so when you go into the studio, knowing that you're going to put out your debut album, did you feel that pressure or were you more kind of like, let's get, like, were you more like positive than like, kind of having bad thoughts creep in?
No, that's a good question. It started off as a little bit of pressure because I mean I feel like it's because I care a lot too, and that's like the pressure I put onto myself. But I had a pretty good concept and idea, and I feel like that gave me confidence too going into it. In the past, like the first EP, just 3 songs that I liked, put it on this, and it dipped the toes here, it dipped the toes here, where actually I feel like it kind of encompassed this sound, which is what I call Sunshine Soul, where I'm born and raised in South Florida. Regardless if I'm not surfing every day like everybody else, or I'm not playing reggae or white boy reggae, whatever categorized genre you want to call it, that Jack Johnson beach Jimmy Buffett influence will influence you. You're influenced by surroundings. But I always went to South Carolina as a kid and was in the woods, and I definitely didn't appreciate it when I was younger. I appreciate it way more as I'm older, and something definitely my dad likes to remind me of too. But that played a big influence on me too, like just like folk Johnny Cash, like we were talking about it earlier in country music. So I would feel like, man, I'm not writing like reggae music, or I'm not writing like very beach influenced music, but I'm also not really writing country music. And I like harmonies and like the Beatles and like doo-wop stuff. So I just kind of wrote these songs, and then that's where I'm like, yeah, it's like, and I heard the word Sunshine Soul from somewhere. I'm not saying like I fucking made that up, but I'm like, I feel like that describes this quite well. So having that, and then the second EP, which is more of just an extension of the first one, that's why I call it Volume Two. And then now that having like a little bit more experience under my belt with that, and even going into the studio and calling some of these shots and really kind of understanding like the power of the ideas and being able to kind of properly communicate that as well. So it kind of took away some of the nerves a little bit to be like, all right, now I know. And especially we took our time with this one too.
So when you're writing songs now for the band, outside of the band members, is there anyone else that you'll take that song to that you'll have listen?
Yeah, no, for sure. I like that question. One of my good friends, his name is Zach. He is just like, I admire his creative brain so much. He's always got fun ideas, and his brother's music. His brothers are musical too, and he's pretty musical. So there is one job I did for. Well, I was asked to write jingles for my local fair, and I'm pretty elementary. I would even say preschool at like recording. So I knew his spot at the house. I went over there. It was a fun idea to collaborate on like jingles where I'm like, oh, the county fair. So let's just do some like country stuff. And I'm boom, 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 boom. He came up with some melodies. So it was nice to collaborate. And then after like a job, I'm like, hey, let's just kind of like free flow. I got like a half idea here of like this like chord progression, and then he's coming up with a melody and stuff too. So and I was able to kind of like almost like come up with like a little bit of a song, and then I take it home, and then I'm just sitting with him like, dude, that thing was like I hung out with my friend, but it was something that like is sitting with me. So I knew that's something there. So I got to explore an idea. And that actually was a song called Shores that I got to like co-write with one of my friends who isn't even a working, gigging musician at all. He probably wouldn't even identify himself as a musician, but it's a song that I co-wrote with him.
So does your girlfriend or wife enjoy then your music, or is she kind of like whatever? Like, is she into music as much as you are?
She is into music, and that's another thing too. It's like when I talk to some like my jazz musician friends, where they're like, sometimes we play jazz to other jazz musicians. Like I'm trying to like the moment we play to people that aren't musicians, that's like shining light where there's not light, and that's very important. So you can play to other musicians, but what's that really going to serve you? So my wife, she loves like indie music, like Rolla Otis, Vampire Weekend, and like her attention to detail and design. She's an interior designer as well, so that's I her creative brain I really admire too. So like when we're listening to a song and if something pops out at her, I definitely wouldn't notice it the first time I'm listening to it. So it makes me pay attention to certain things. And she's honest too. Like I'll play like some stuff in the background, and then if I can hear her singing a melody that I did like an hour later, I'm like, all right, cool, it's sticking. It's sticking somewhere. I saw an interview with Jack Johnson where how he wrote Banana Pancakes, where he was playing for his wife a different song. And she's like, yeah, cool. Yeah, yeah. And then he was joking, like, you hardly even know when I try to show. And then she's like, whoa, that's kind of cool. And he's like, really? And then that's where Banana Pancakes kind of grew about. So stuff like that, where it's like we've been together since we were 15. So I met her with a guitar in my hand. So it was one of those things where it's like an extension of me, and I feel like she kind of knows what she signed up for.
Wow. So you wow. So she was your first love, basically.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Wow. That's
Absolutely, yeah.
so where did you guys get married then? You get married in Jupiter or
Yeah, we got married. We got married in Florida. We got married the year 2022. So we it was pandemic time, things different, and also we had no money. I still don't got much money, so I was trying to think of like creative ways to get married. Ideally, I'm like, let's just elope, and she's like, let's do. And then she's like, she brought me back down to earth, and she's like, let's do something proper. Let's do something for our family. I'm like, okay. So we kind of got creative with some different ideas. There is a sculpture art museum in West Palm Beach, and I was just calling places where I'm like super random. We're gonna get married on Tuesday. It's just 30 people. It's like my family, her family. That's it. And then push comes to shove, small town. I got a long Greek last name that's an extension of the Takos, like we said before. They recognize my last name. She's like, I went to high school with your dad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. And then she's like, also, I have my, like, the no name or like the person who can marry you. She's like, I can do that if you would like me to. Like, I'm certified. And I'm like, oh my gosh, everything's falling into place. So yeah, we had a nice little thing there. And then since it was 2022, pandemic era. We took like a after we got married, we took a nice little like a week mini moon as we called it to Washington State, which was incredible. But we made that promise like we will take a month and go to Europe eventually, and that's what we did, and that's why our honeymoon was last year. But yeah,
so favorite meal on your trip in Europe? Had to have a favorite meal, right?
let's think. Let's think. We stayed at a we stayed at like a farmhouse in like right outside Florence. I could see like all of Florence from where we were. It's incredible. And that guy had everything on his farm. So and it was so casual where he's like, hey, you guys staying for dinner? And I'm like, no, we're gonna go in the city. And then other nights he'd be like, you want to stay for dinner? We're cooking this, and everything's fresh from his farm. He made like this pesto that was incredible. God, dude, it's like so hard to choose from. Um, like really anything in Italy that I would touch was just incredible. Have you been to Europe at all or
No, so I've been to most of the Caribbean, Mexico, Canada, a decent amount of this country, but I have never
yeah.
been to Europe. And the reason why is I know myself that once I go there, I won't come back.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
that's
that's a
kind of
thing.
why I've held off. But I think next year because I'll turn 50 next year, I think we're going to try and do Glastonbury
Okay, very cool.
because if you're going to do a festival, you do Glastonbury and, that would be in Europe. So that would check off both buckets.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I
my
think we're
gosh,
going
yeah.
to do that.
Canada's sweet though. I mean, I've seen a lot of my friends that would go to Canada. They're like, that's not what I expected at all. Like it's beautiful.
Montreal and Quebec City, like unbelievable, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where some of my, I mean, learning my family roots. I'm Greek and Italian on my dad's side, and I'm French Canadian and German on my mom's side. And I believe when they came over from Germany, they landed in the French side of Canada, and then that's where kind of my roots come from a little bit there too. But yeah, I mean, and then the show. Have you heard of Letterkenny?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. I One of my favorite shows ever, and I didn't realize that was like a Canadian show. So, Canadian culture, I love it. It's very cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of like what we talked about before too, like the importance of just traveling and just like getting out of like your little comfortable bubble is huge, and also important for like artist development.
Did you have any inspiration for any songs when you were over there, or since you've written?
I think a lot of it has come from just like short answer, yes, but it's like I look back and it's like the simple things of like I mean I know we were on holiday honeymoon, so I'm seeing everything through rose-colored glasses. But there's also like we were in Switzerland, and I would see little elementary school kids like walk by me with backpacks, and I'm looking around like waiting for their parents to be around, and the kids were just walking to school. I'm like, that's crazy. That is insane. Like, I mean, I have a drive that I take when I'm going to the office with my wife that she works, and I see there's an elementary school and we see all the parents walking and stuff too. You see like security and stuff too. It's just kind of like what it is now, but it's things like that like stuck with me, and I know that will kind of like earn into something. So there's little things like that, even like the food too. I remember like we did a lot of walks. I like to stay active and be mindful. And there was like one point where I'm like getting in my head, I'm like, man, I've been eating way too good. I'm probably like 100 million pounds at this point, whatever, whatever. And then like I hit the scale coming back, and I lost like 10 pounds. And all I did was like eat pasta the whole time in Italy. Oh, that's crazy. So like the food, the air, culture, meeting some different people. My wife, my hair was like down to here also when when I was over there, and it was summertime. I was pretty tan, and my wife is half Chinese, so I know we look pretty different on the outside. And there's a lot of people that are coming up to us, either speaking Italian, broken English, asking us like, "Where are we from in Europe?" or like, "I can't tell if you're from the States or not." So things like that, like just core memories that I think will live with me forever. When I approach kind of some of these new songs, which I have been kind of working on the next concept, the next thing has definitely kind of bled into there.
So I would say of this collection of songs off Sweet Brews and Heavy Grooves, is there a song that surprised you now that when you play it live? Or maybe not surprised you, but maybe like, it's evolved maybe more so than other songs now that you play it live?
Oh, for sure. The song New Day, it's the transitional part from the sweet brew side to the heavy groove side. I just had this song, and it was more of just like a story that I had a conversation with somebody, and it was they're just very kind of down on themselves. I can tell they're kind of going through that particular season, and I've gone through that season in my life, so I can really kind of empathize with it. And the whole thing, I was just like, tomorrow's a new day, and that concept, and I was just more of trying to be like an open ear to it. So again, the song kind of wrote itself too, but me coming up with like different ideas and how different can I make some like country grooves or whatever. And then as I'm playing it to the talent, the band, my drummer's like, "You're kind of playing a different tempo here," and I'm like, "Oh, I mean, we can kind of dog." I was like, "No, it's cool. Like, we'll kind of do this," and then so we have like some of these like tempo changes going on and stuff, and which my approach, I never really heard that, but or I guess like completely understood it in a sense. So recording it was interesting, but we were able to do it and do it well, and then that translating it to live, I'm like, I wonder how this is going to go. It's either going to be a hot mess, or it's just going to be it's going to be exactly how we were able to capture it live as we record it. I mean, we record everything kind of like bass and drums live, but we're able to kind of like capture that lightning in the bottle. So song New Day took me by surprise for sure.
Yeah. So getting back to doing when you're playing solo and doing like covers, do you tend to do a lot of female vocalists? And if you do you tend to change like the your version of it or not necessarily?
I'm trying to think of a particular song because I do songs with female vocals, but I cannot think of a single one. I've done Only Exception by Paramore. I just try to keep the lyrics the same. The only time I'll really change lyrics is when I see like there's young eyes and ears listening, and if I'm like like I'll put Creep by Radiohead and then say instead of saying so fucking special, I'll say so very special. And then sometimes people will make fun of me and I'm like, this is a family restaurant. I'm not dropping the F word here. Here we go. I want to keep my job. So there's times like that I'll switch something up a little bit. But as far as kind of like when the pronouns and his, hers, or even talking about like a guy from a female perspective, I would just generally kind of keep it the same too.
Yeah. So you brought up Radiohead. Radiohead is my number one band. What's your take on Radiohead as a band?
I haven't had the it hasn't had like that hit me factor yet. There's songs like I'll listen to and I'm like, oh, this is sick. And I'm like, oh, of course, this is Radiohead. Creep was introduced to me, obviously, like everybody else. I feel like that's like their most known song. If that's a ignorant statement, please correct me. But Karma Police. But they've got so much talent and just what they've done in like kind of like I guess like the indie space. They kind of put it into a certain way where people like bands that I like will talk about their influence being Radiohead. I think Somber is a pop star. I don't know if you've heard of Somber. I love Somber, and I think he alludes to Radiohead a lot for his inspiration. So it's one of those things where I almost like I feel like I'm late to the game sometimes with certain things, but I know when I try like this band, I try to give this band a chance, and I can appreciate it. I like it, but it hasn't like had that hit me yet
Mhm.
factor. And it might be like I watch a video and I'm like, oh my gosh, and then I'm all in. But so what about? I guess my question for you is like for someone like me. I know Radiohead. I like Radiohead. I haven't had like this moment where I'm like, whoom, with it. Is there an album? Is there a live video? Is there a music video? Is there like a story that you can kind of share?
I would say any of their if you go on YouTube, any of their Coachella performances or any of their Bonnaroo performances,
Okay.
they were all of them I think were legendary in their own right just because of the crowd size, because of where they were at like band wise, like different kind of um I guess like moments in time where they were at, like timeline almost. So
Right.
that would be my, but even just like their album, either OK Computer or In Rainbows, like if you listen to either one of those albums, like in and of themselves, they are completely different, but like you'll understand like the thematics and like there is a lot of like symmetry between both albums. And yeah,
Okay.
it's funny, like I they opened so my first concert that I ever went to, I was a senior in high school and Hershey, Pennsylvania is only about 45 minutes away from here. So they have a big stadium there. So Alanis Morissette was touring on Jagged Little Thrill. And that album, of course, was, amazing.
Mhm.
So the band that opened up for her was Radiohead. And so I
Wow.
didn't know anything about them. And I'm watching this band play and I'm like, holy shit. Like, and obviously Alanis was amazing too, but like, I just like that, like watching them. And it was cool too, because like going back, like, and now knowing like the history behind that like tour, they were doing songs on OK Computer that hadn't even been released yet. Like they were just testing them out, like road testing them
Yeah.
on the tour. So I'm hearing like OK Computer songs before they were even released. Like it's just stupid. It's so stupid. But yeah,
What
that's
what yeah, what a time to
yeah.
see Radiohead open.
Yeah. 1996, so 30 years ago. That's crazy.
My gosh.
Yeah. Yep. So, is there a concert that like sticks out in your memory, like that you've attended that you were just like, my oh my, like that's the one.
There's stuff locally here that I've remember will always kind of remember. Like if it's like musicianship, if it's like off stage, just stuff that's just fun.
Mhm.
Spread the Dub is like a really popular band down here. They've been doing it for a long time. I've always looked up to them since I was starting out when I was like 16, 17. There's a venue called Voltaire that it's kind of still there, but it's not really a music venue. Upstairs lounge area. They've played like a release party there that was just super fun. I remember that. But kind of more of a commercial setting. I remember I got invited to see John Mayer, and I was your body's a wonderland. Cool. I mean, whatever. That's really all I knew of John Mayer. I did not know anything else. And he just released Paradise Valley. And I think that was right when he was coming off his surgery
Okay.
too. So his voice was pretty rough. And I think that was after his first tour with the Dead or something new in that sense. I have never like watched a live show like I'm like analyzing like a sporting event where I'm like, my God, did you just see that? That was incredible. And that like changed the way I looked at just like my relationship with my guitar, my instrument, and my relationship with my songs, and being able to kind of like speak and also highlight musicianship on stage. And his playing was just incredible, and just that really just opened something in my mind. Also, Leon Bridges, Coming Home, one of my favorite albums front to back. He was playing at the Fillmore down in Miami, and I remember going there and get as close as possible. And I see like this like petite woman come up, beautiful long hair. She's got like a beautiful hollow body Gibson guitar, long dress. And I see like a silhouette of her. I'm like, I didn't know he had an opener. I really just didn't even know he had an opener. That's how much I was like Leon Bridges, Leon Bridges. And do you know who Liana La Havas is? It
No.
was her blew me away. Like her, she's playing like she's finger picking like all these crazy jazz chords. Like she's like some people sing so beautifully. I always say like they sing in cursive. So she's like singing in cursive a little bit, just filling out the Fillmore. And then bam, her band hits. I didn't even see them get on stage because I was so gravitated towards her. And it was like a very organic way for me to be introduced to an artist. And I like will still listen to her songs, and it's like music's such a time capsule where it takes me back to that spot too, where I was just like so like had no idea what I was like walking into, and I walked into something incredible. And I'm trying to think if there's one
Where is she
more.
from?
I think California. She
Okay.
has a tiny desk. But yeah, she was touring with Leon Bridges, and she's got like a neo soul sound,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
very cool. Man, there's got to be one more, more on the countryside. I'm trying to think, but
Yeah, that's John Merritt. That's I've not seen him, but that he is definitely on my bucket list. It was
yeah,
interesting
yeah.
that he did the whole Dead and Company thing. I'm still a little like I don't know. Like I get why he did it, and I get why they wanted him to do it, but like that package together, it just I don't know. To me, it just still seems like kind of like I don't know. Am I
Yeah,
weird to
no,
think
it's
that?
no, dude, not at all. Because it's one of those things where it's like you see someone who's like such an entity themselves, and then you see something like the Dead that is such an entity itself, and then you put it like you almost put it to this where it becomes something else. It's almost like I mean, this is gonna be a wild comparison, but like Sublime with Rome. Do you remember that
Yeah.
era where Rome's incredibly talented, and the foundation of Sublime, they got it. Sublime with Rome, and I personally feel like I liked what they did, but I feel like they were trying to force something that like wasn't really connecting, and then Jacob, um, leading like his dad's legacy is such like a huge thing, and I feel like those songs that have come out, some of those singles are fucking awesome. So, and I feel like that was a good fit. But
We
with
we
John
just saw
May,
them. Yeah, we just saw
oh
them
yeah,
Friday night. We
oh my
saw
gosh,
them. Yeah, to your point, yes, he was amazing. Like absolutely amazing. Like owned it, like owned that, hey, like I am carrying on my dad's legacy. Like clearly stated that and clearly like that was on his mind the entire night. Great performance, but I will say, the band they were not, it was not tight. There
all
was like
right,
Wrong Way was definitely flubbed a couple times. There were a couple other songs where the timing was like kind of off. Um,
yeah,
so musically, I thought the band was not like on point, and especially too because they have been touring now. Like they did like the Red
yeah.
Rock shows. Like it wasn't like this was like a one-off festival appearance. So like that was a little disappointing to me. But like I had never seen them live. Like so like when he died, like I'm a senior in high school. Like this is like like they were at the peak.
Hmm.
So to see them live, it was just it was very emotional for me. But at the same time, I was also like, man, like I wish like it would have been a little tighter.
Yeah, yeah. And that's sometimes that's the sublime vibe that you're gonna get a little bit,
Yep.
because I see that with like certain like reggae rock infused bands, but I mean, even just like for someone like Jacob to do what he's doing, and even to speak about like his dad's legacy, and I mean, it's heavy. It's a lot, and I've seen some interviews, and he speaks very intelligently and very well. And I think anyone in that position can't do that position better than Jacob. And Jacob actually comes down in this particular area, and I've always missed it, and I've always kicked myself for missing it. Like he's done like solo acoustic. I think Jacob's Castle is like a thing he like tours off of like that name, and he's done stuff like at Guanabanas and some like the Kava bars locally around my area. Of any Terra Firmata up in Stewart, I'm pretty sure he's played at and stuff as well. But
That's
yeah,
cool though
it's
because that's cool because like his dad, like a lot of those bootleg CDs were just him playing acoustic at bars. So that's
mhm.
yeah, that's awesome. Like that's really cool that he's doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's something special for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, tell the band or tell the fans what do we have to expect for you guys for the rest of the year then? Tour dates, music, anything we got?
To expect for the rest of the year,
Yeah.
for the connection, so record came out May 6th. I've been fortunate enough to do some like fun collaborative work. In Your Dreams, I had a good friend Zane sing female harmony on that, and I had my buddy Joey Caldereo do a special verse on 24 Strong. And for my approach, I've been doing a lot of like live video recording sessions. So from now for the next few months, there'll be released some sort of live video released on my YouTube channel, Jakob Takos. It'll either be at the 5.61 session or Raincat or somewhere else. We're trying to kind of. Last year we played some pretty sweet shows. We got to play Sugar Shack downtown. We played a couple festivals last year, but now we are trying to kind of get back into that groove. I'm itching to get back to the studio and start writing again. But I'm trying to kind of find something where we can play these songs out properly. I had some stuff lined up. Of course, everyone's schedule and timing and stuff kind of playing in a certain way. I just got an offer actually to play out in Arlington, Texas by myself. We'll see how that kind of comes about. I've played guitar for a couple of acts and some people. A guy named Jordan Oakes, he's a country singer. I got to play guitar for him a couple months ago up in Wilmington, North Carolina. We opened for Shenandoah, which was really sick. So there's I get offers like that from here and there, but as far as like the connection goes, trying to set up a fun show where it's like, here's this block of time, we're gonna do this, we're gonna have this opener. I'm gonna invite a bunch of friends out and stuff too, where it's like you want to come rap on stage, you want to come here, because that's the thing. It's like what I would like people to walk away from a connection show is just like to feel like a real moment. If it's a moment musically that you want to walk away and be like, I want to pick up my guitar and start playing some more, or if you walk away where you're like, these people had so much fun on stage, I want to find a community that makes it fun, or you walk away just singing a melody in your head. even if you hate it.
Well, Jupiter, Florida is home for him. The new album is called Sweet Brews and Heavy Grooves. Was that your idea for the album title, or whose idea was that?
There was a that concept is like stuck with me. I remember setting up kind of like a show a while ago, and I was like, I want to pick things from all different genres and then serve beer. So sweet brews and heavy grooves. And then I just always liked that phrase. So that's why I'm like, if I can think of something that like you can have something like a coffee or a beer or a tea and just like sit and just kind of groove with somebody. So or something. So that's a kind of a it's always just stuck. I mean, I have all like these little phrases and sayings just like piled up somewhere, and sometimes where I'm like, this is perfect for here.
Yeah. Either it's a lyric or an album title, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, Sweet Brews. I mean, I work at a brewery, so I can appreciate that. Are you noticing, like, when you're out and about or when you're playing shows, are you noticing like this notion that people are saying that people aren't drinking anymore, like, and that like people under 30 aren't drinking anymore? Are you seeing that, or?
Well, considering that I don't drink, I I can only speak for myself. I
Okay.
wasn't good at drinking, so that's why I just kind of stopped. But I have no, I have noticed it for some different people. Some people wanted to like if it was like more of a discipline. I've seen people were like, I'm not drinking this calendar year to see what it does. I've seen people for health reasons, kind of like now we have so much access now to like doctors and information, and also again trends with this, but I have seen it with different people, but I mean, I play breweries often too, and I still see regular people coming in there. I see a lot of families too, and I feel like I mean, I would love to hear your perspective on this. I've seen breweries change more for like an open family style stuff for particular hours where they're serving food. They have like just like open space too, where like the dad can have a drink, the mom can have a Cabernet or something, and then the kids can kind of just like hang out and play. And it's like a very just community thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely what is happening. Yep, that's I don't think you could have said it any better. It really is. I think it's smart from a marketing standpoint as well, because if
Mhm.
you are getting kids into the brewery at a young age and you're seeing that, oh, like, hey, when I get to be an adult, like I can do this too, like, or there's, I see mom and dad having a good time, so this must be a good time, like there's a lot of
Exactly.
correlations.
Yeah, and I think like the relationship with alcohol, and that's kind of how I view it, where someone who's young at a brewery and they're seeing like their parents like socialize and have fun and not be an emotional wreck, at least at the surface, or not just being like causing a scene or having an issue, but it's just like this is we're coming to hang out because drinking sometimes here in the States, again, compare Europe again, is so different than drinking overseas. I mean, there's been so many times where people put wine in my hands over there, and I look at my wife I'm like, "You have to drink this. I don't want to be rude." So she's drinking for two. But it's so, and I've seen like the culture change. I've seen people stop drinking. I've seen people shelf drinking and go back to it in a different discipline. And I've also seen different trends with stuff. It's with like different carbonated drinks, with like THC drinks now, with all rules and regulations being so different. And I've seen like the non-alcoholic beers where people know I don't drink, and someone's like, "All right, drink this," and I'm like, "This tastes way too like much like an IV. I'm not drinking this. I'm good."
Yeah, it is funny. The California sober, I think that's a funny, trend that we've seen for a while now.
It's yeah, you're right, exactly. Yeah, so like if I have a THC drink, I guess that considers me California sober because I'm drinking something with that in there. But let's be honest with yourself, people.
Well, it's a lot less of a hangover, I must say.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't miss those.
Oh man. So starting guitar at 10 years old, you're now 31. So you play
Mhm.
guitar now for basically as old as you could to drink, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny, ironically how that works out. So I mean, I guess as a guitar player at 10 or as a guitar player at 20, and now at 31, like, do you feel like you've kind of, I don't want to say mastered the instrument, but at least have a good enough idea of what you're doing now?
Oh man, I feel like I suck. If I'm being, like it's like you think about it where it's like you've been doing this since you're 10 and you're now it's like man, you should be like a master. But for me, a lot of it's like my relationship with my instrument, my relationship with my craft, where I remember being 10 and like those adolescence years from like 10 years old to maybe like which I was like in fifth grade when I picked up the guitar until like maybe eighth grade. We're just bonding with my instrument, having fun, not really thinking of like much. My friend showed me a few chords and then just having that connection to that and I was like just hooked from there. And then I got lessons like I think like a year later where I've learned scales and like how to kind of get that muscle memory going. And then when YouTube came out, I think in '06 or '07, the ability to pause a video and look at someone's hands and see that. I remember learning like Smells Like Teen Spirit that way of just like pausing a video, seeing like the hands and just like sounding that out a little bit. I mean, before like Marty Schwartz and all these like guitar lesson people were even like becoming who they are today. But then after that, starting to kind of jam with different people, getting in different bands. And I think a lot of it was just like to speak personally, where I'm like the comparison game of being an artist, where I'm like, man, that person's so good, and I fucking suck, and I can't do that, and this and that, and just trying to find your own way a little bit. And then now kind of getting older and becoming more of like an artiste, I guess, and knowing like my abilities and what I need to work on too. So there's been times where even now, like I can like my guitar player, he's like such a he's so good. He can explain things well, and not only he's like a master of understanding, but he also has like his own creative taste and input. So like I'll see something cool, I'm like, can you explain that to me for a second? So always being like a student, I think, is like the best thing because that way you'll grow as a musician.
Yeah. It's no better words could be said, my friend. Thank you so much. Jakob Takos, everybody. Go to jakobtakos.com on Instagram, right? What's the best way to reach you guys or reach you in the band?
If you type in Jakob Takos, you'll find JAKOBTAKOS. You can find on Instagram, YouTube, Jakob Takos and the connection. That is like all centralized more towards like the band and band information. If you have an idea for a band collaborative show or anything like that, you can message that, or you can just kind of go directly to the horse, which is me, I guess. So you can just send me a message. But yeah, anything Jakob Takos related.
Well, I appreciate you doing this, my friend. SPF 50 the rest of the summer.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you do for musicians and giving them a voice, and not only just like asking and the curiosity, but just really like uplifting the artists. Like I said, like the way you interviewed Jordan and Mo Lauda and the Humble, it just really kind of just grabbed me my attention because when I found their music, I was in such an interesting, darker place in my life. But I just found their album. I think it was like their first album, and like Lazy Minds just like really rung out to me. So that whole album, I just worked out to that album. It was such a consistent factor. So being able to photograph them and then hearing like a nice intimate interview that you did with Jordan too, it was really nice to kind of see these things and these decisions I had in my life come to kind of fruition in full circle. So, Dog, thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, and it's cool. Like Jordan, like we text often. I went to their show last month. Yeah, last month or 2 months ago when they came to my town. So yeah, it's great to not only get to interview these people, but then like to have connections with them and to keep connecting with them. So yeah, I
Mhm.
looked forward to connecting with you as well, my friend.
You, yeah, absolutely. Anytime you're down in Florida, if I'm up there, man, we'll have to link up.
Yeah, sounds good. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and the bands and artists like Jacob that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dog. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.